evening and welcome to Active Citizens Parliament. My name is Sharon and Nemchuku. Joining me live in the studio, I have with me Ifoma Oji. Good evening, how are you doing?
Good evening, Sharon. I'm very well.
All right, now we also have joining us via Zoom our analyst in person of Mr. Clifford Okunzoa. Good evening, sir. How are you doing?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. I'm doing fine. And how are you too?
We are good. Thank you very much. Now we are going straight to the headlines that we'll be treating this evening. First, the National Assembly wants presidential and gubernatorial elections moved to November 2026. Why now, you might ask? Who benefits? Is this a democratic adjustment or a calculated political reset? Then moving over to Enugu, shocker from the east, Enugu State Governor Peter Mbah has dumped the PDP for the APC. Is this personal ambition, survival politics, or part of a bigger defection wave? And outside Nigeria, chaos in Madagascar. The president has dissolved parliament. Protests are rocking the streets. Cool fears are rising. Is another African democracy on the brink? Well, we'll have that conversation in a minute. But first, we have to start with what is happening in Nigeria, with the National Assembly trying to approve a bill to move the presidential and gubernatorial election from May 2027, where it normally would happen, to November 2026. Now, the question on everyone's lips is, why now? Why? How does this, make sense for all of us as a civil society, Mr. Clifford?
For me, I think just that every day in Nigeria, wonders are happening. So we can't actually tell, unless the government has given us a good reason as to why you have to move it. But for me, I just see it as a kind of a political strategy, as to strategize more and to even give more governors, because we can see the aspect of governors defecting from one political party because carpeting to the other political party. I just see it as an avenue to give them more chance for them to come to the ruling party, and it will be to their advantage during the election. So that's just it.
All right. Now, you think it's for their advantage. Now, Ifoma, what's your take on it generally?
Well, I think according to what they said it's for them to buy more time to settle disputes. That, I mean, the courts there's a lot of issues, so they need to settle those issues before 2027, and also for INEC to equally work on their machineries, you understand, as ahead of the 2027 election. So that was what their reasons were.
Now I'm asking, what do you make of it generally?
Well, just like what Clifford said, Nigeria is a jungle. This set of persons always come up to make new rules and the rest of them, and at the end of the day, we're asking ourselves, what benefit will it be to Nigeria? Because the only thing I'm seeing here is the fact that it's really and definitely going to affect Nigeria in general. It will affect the election campaign, the calendar for election campaign. It will affect the civil servants, because I mean, some of them are supposed to go for leave. For because of this now, it will actually kind of stall their leave, and a lot of even school calendars, it will equally affect them. So for me, I don't really see this as something that they should be moving motion for. You understand? I will always say that we have pending issues that we need to sort out in Nigeria. If you want electoral reform, you had all the years after election. It was 2023 that we had the last election. You had those cases. Why don't you trash out those cases before 2027 election? So you now want to buy more time now that we're how many years away from, how many months or how many years away from the election, 2027 election, and you're bringing in this new
All right.
So for me, it doesn't really make sense.
From what they're saying that this is part of the electoral reform, the Electoral Act in 2022, and that they are trying to make it easier to amend or to enforce electoral reforms instead of depending on the Constitution and going as far as amending Constitution. They want to now work with electoral acts now. But to you, Mr. Clifford, you have given your opinion on the matter. And you just said now that you do not see the need for all of this and the changes and all of that. But to be honest, we have been asking for electoral reforms. Do you see this as them answering to that cry? Or do you think that they should have started with the appointment of the INEC chairman and changing that? Or are we on the right path when it comes to electoral reforms in Nigeria?
Yeah, thank you very much. When we talk of seeking for electoral reform, what we are looking for is a free, fair, and plain election, where the people can confidently be convinced that their votes are counting. Citing an example like the beavers, if people vote at the primary polling unit, on their polling unit, they should be able to see the, what's it called now, the total record before it gets to the state level or down to the federal level. This is what we want to be seeing the results right from each polling unit. That is the electoral reform that Nigerians are seeking for. And not when we are some months to the election, you are trying to adjust it to your own advantage. I think the INEC per se, I can tell you that INEC is not totally independent, according to the name, the Independent National Electoral Commission. They are not totally independent. If INEC is independent, things like this should have been done immediately after the initial election. Then you plan towards it, not some months to the main election. You are coming to adjust. I don't buy that idea. I just see it as a political strategy, you know, to their own advantage. That's all I could deduce from that point.
All right. Now, you don't see it as them working towards electoral reforms. And I have to ask.
No, not at all.
What do you think this now means for us concerning the elections that is forthcoming? If we have such back and forth already ongoing before the 2027 election, or maybe we can call it the 2026 election, if that motion is actually approved. What do you think? How do you think this will affect the elections in the future?
I'm not trying to be partisan per se, but I want to say this, that there's nothing that will happen in the 2026, rather 2027 election. We already know who is going to win the election.
Who is that, Mr. Clifford? Who is that, Mr. Clifford? You said we know.
Oh, probably you don't know, but we already know. Live with that language.
Okay.
So I'm not trying to be political. I'm not trying to be partisan, like supporting one party, but it's high time we face reality. With all this back and forth, the governors defecting, cross-carpeting to one political party. I think as at last week, I was able to check how many governors belong to political parties, and I discovered that a particular party has more than 2/3 of it. So in that kind of process, decision making is solely on that political party. That's why all these what's it called now, adjustment of election dates and the rest is just to see that they remain on that position. They already have an agenda. It could be like the former political party, they had agenda to rule Nigeria for 28 years. So this one could have their own agenda to rule Nigeria for 30 years, irrespective of who is coming. But it should be that political party. So these are all the strategies that is being put in place to ensure that this is come to pass.
So now it's a battle for political parties, not for good governance. We hear you now. Now,
no, not
all right.
at all.
To you, Ifoma, we're also going to tie this to the next story because Mr. Clifford already brought it up. So I might as just ask the question. When we talk about one-party system, with the APC, we're seeing a lot of defection, and the next story is about how the governor of Enugu State just defected to APC, leaving PDP. Do you see us getting to that point where we are practicing a one-party system?
Yes, I feel and I think that we are teetering towards that, because how can you tell me that the entire Enugu State is now APC? For me, it was, I was overwhelmed when I saw that in the news. I'm like, it's not just him, but it was more like kind of an agreement with all the state actors, you understand? And I'm like, is it that nobody can actually say something about it? Yes, we understand the fact that, I mean, PDP is dead and buried, but the only thing I'm seeing here is a man trying to, you know, gain more power and authority, not even a man working on policies or even ideas. That is what I'm clearly seeing. According to him, he said he wants to move closer to the federal house.
Central power.
Yes, central power, exactly. And but I think at the end of the day, it will definitely reflect on, you know, the people of Enugu State. If this will bring forth development, then maybe it's good for them. But what I'm seeing right now is the fact that a lot of people have defected to APC, a lot of people have defected to, maybe some of them to the coalition ADC, but I'm seeing majorly APC here. So I think we are teetering towards that, you know, a APC one-party system.
You know, you said something, and it's the fact that even the governor of Enugu said that they're trying to associate themselves with the central power. Now, this is something that the Abia state government also agreed to during the time where they were commissioning some projects, and they had the Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike, commissioned that project. He said that this is going to bring more developments to Abia State, as they are going to be able to work better with the leading administration. Now, is it that for a government like this in Nigeria, that you have to be in a particular party before you can get good governance? Mr. Clifford.
Okay, the thing is this. There's what we call national cake. So each state has their own allocation. If you do not belong to the winning team, there is tendency of your allocation being very, very low, or not even having at all. If you do not belong to the winning cartel, there is tendency that those projects you want to carry on, you need to finance it. And when you do not belong to that particular cartel, there's no way you get funds necessary to carry out those projects. So I can tell you boldly that whoever that is cross-carpeting is not doing anything for their own states, rather for their own personal interest. You can be in ADC, LPP, whatever party, and still do your normal work. But because you are looking for the national, what will I put now, the bigger share of the dividends, yes. I think that's why they are just cross-carpeting. There's no personal, there's no interest of the people, rather it's their own personal interest. And moreover, most of them are also cross-carpeting to have a second chance, so that they can have a rerun election. And secondly, a man said once you join the APC, your sins are forgiven. Because currently, as at the case of former Delta State Governor Okowa, when he was being faulted by EFCC, and just a week after joining the APC, that case died down, and we never heard anything about it. So that's the same threat that is being faced by some of these governors, and I can tell you that that's why they are defected.
All right, now, just finally, we're going to the next story. We're seeing Madagascar president dissolving parliament amid protests. And I'm just going to ask, first of all, to Ifoba, I mean, with what we're seeing in Madagascar and what has happened now, do you see any correlation with that and what is happening in Nigeria? Do we see such thing happening in Nigeria?
I'm not really seeing it happening in Nigeria, but maybe some of it, just little bit, because their own case is different. This is the president dissolving his cabinet because of the fact that he wants to still regain or retain his power. That's what I'm seeing, which has garnered a lot of reactions from the youth, them protesting for the fact that, I mean, there is terrible governance and you're not even hearing the critics or the cries of the people. And he went ahead because of the fact that they now want to impeach him. They are kind of forming an alliance to impeach him. He now dissolved the entire cabinet. So I'm not really seeing that maybe in Nigeria where the president will dissolve that. I'm actually not seeing it. It's a different, you know, government.
All right, Clifford, what's your take on it?
Initially, when I hear Madagascar, what comes to my head is the penguins of Madagascar. This is the first time I'm hearing bad government as regarding to Madagascar. Now, I don't actually know the essence of power that was given to the executive for a president to be able to dissolve a full assembly. Nevertheless, in a situation where people are crying for a change, rather than dissolving, why not seek counsel with your assembly and seek how you can better them? So it's a very big lacuna on the part of the president, and even to the entire assembly, to see that the president dissolve the entire assembly, and rather than seeking for a change for the citizens. So I really don't know why he would do such a thing. I think this is an era of dictatorship.
An era of dictatorship. Anyways, thank you very much, Mr. Clifford. Thank you, Foma, for your contributions in the conversation so far. To our viewers, thank you as well for joining. If you're yet to follow us across all media, please endeavor to do so. Find us across all social media at Active Citizens. You can find me on my personal Instagram and Facebook at Sharon NM Chuku. Yuri Foma?
You can find me on Facebook at Oji Sophia and on Instagram at Miss Lex.
Till we see you tomorrow, please have a good evening.